Aaron sat across from Ben at the kitchen table, his hands clasped tight. Pat stood by the counter, arms folded, eyes tired but hopeful. Aaron said, "Ben, Pat, and I want you to control Luke day to day." Ben didn't react right away, he just studied Aaron carefully. "How?" Aaron swallowed. "Like you did with Vin, structure, routine, accountability, just without anything medical like that surgery talk before. We're not asking for extremes." Ben leaned back in his chair. "Luke is okay, he's struggling but he's okay." Pat stepped forward. "You got him to eat yesterday, he listened to you." Ben nodded slowly. "An eating disorder isn't going to disappear in a day." "We get that," Aaron said quickly. "That's why we want consistency. Pat and we don't want to bury our only son, we're scared, Ben." The room fell silent. Upstairs, Luke sat on his bed, knees pulled to his chest, headphones in but no music playing. He'd heard enough raised voices over the last few months to recognize fear when he heard it. Ben finally spoke. "Control isn't about power, it's about safety. If I do this, it's not about owning his life, it's about helping him feel steady." Aaron nodded. "That's what we want." That evening, Ben knocked gently on Luke's door. "Yeah," Luke's voice was guarded. Ben walked in and sat on the edge of the desk chair, not too close. "Your parents talked to me." Luke rolled his eyes slightly. "Of course they did." "They're scared," Ben said calmly. "Not mad, not disappointed, scared." Luke stared at the wall. "I'm not doing this on purpose." "I know." That simple answer made Luke glance up. Ben continued, "You don't lose control of your body overnight and you don't rebuild strength overnight either. What you need is structure. Meals at set times, check-ins, sleep routine, no skipping, no negotiating with your brain." Luke shifted uncomfortably. "That sounds like being treated like a kid." "It's not about being a kid," Ben said gently. "It's about letting someone help carry the weight while you heal." Luke's eyes watered slightly, though he tried to hide it. "What if I mess up?" "Then we reset," Ben replied. "No yelling, no shame, just reset." There was a long pause. "And," Ben added carefully, "when things feel overwhelming, we simplify. Comfortable clothes, quiet space, maybe even letting yourself be taken care of a little more than usual. There's nothing wrong with needing that." Luke hesitated. "Like what?" "Like not having to make decisions all day, like being reminded when to eat, when to rest, like letting someone else be the steady one." Luke's shoulders dropped slightly, the constant pressure in his chest eased just a little. "So you're not taking over my life?" Luke asked softly. "No," Ben said, "I'm helping you build it back." Over the next few days, Ben created a calm routine. Breakfast at 8. Short walk at 10. Lunch at 12:30. Quiet hour in the afternoon. Dinner together. No food talk during meals, just normal conversation. When Luke hesitated at his plate, Ben didn't argue. He sat nearby, steady and patient. "Just one bite, we're not rushing." Sometimes Luke shook, sometimes he cried, but he ate. One evening, after finishing most of his dinner, Luke looked up. "I didn't think I could do that." Ben gave him a small smile. "You did." Luke exhaled slowly. "It's easier when someone's there." "That's the point." Downstairs, Aaron and Pat watched quietly as Luke began coming down on his own for meals. His face was still thin, his recovery was still fragile, but there was light in his eyes again. Pat squeezed Aaron's hand. "He's fighting." Aaron nodded, "and this time he's not alone." Upstairs later that night, Luke sat on his bed while Ben checked in one last time. "Same plan tomorrow?" Ben asked. Luke nodded. "Okay," Ben said, "get some rest." As Ben left the room, Luke whispered, almost to himself, "Maybe I don't have to be strong all by myself." And for the first time in a long while, that didn't feel like weakness. Aaron and Ben stood in the living room while Luke rested upstairs after lunch. Ben spoke quietly. "Aaron, we should get Luke a power chair." Aaron looked surprised. "His manual chair isn't good." "It's not about whether it works," Ben explained calmly. "It's about energy. Right now, Luke's body is still healing. When he uses the manual chair outside of his scheduled activity time, he's burning calories he doesn't have to spare." Aaron frowned slightly. "He's been trying to push himself more." "Exactly," Ben said gently. "He's trying to prove he's strong, but recovery isn't about proving anything. If he uses a power chair for most movement, we can control when he exercises. short, planned sessions, not constant output. Aaron sighed, so it's not taking something away from him. No, Ben replied, it's protecting him from overdoing it. With a power chair, he keeps independence but without draining himself. Aaron nodded slowly, you know best, I trust you. Ben gave him a reassuring look. This isn't forever, it's a tool. When his weight stabilizes and his strength returns, we reassess. That evening, Ben brought it up gently with Luke. Can we talk about something? Ben asked. Luke tensed slightly, what now? I've noticed you've been pushing your manual chair a lot more. Luke looked down, I don't want to feel useless. You're not useless, Ben said firmly but softly, but your body is still underweight. Every extra push is energy you need for healing. Luke swallowed, so what, I just sit? No, Ben said, we're thinking about getting you a power chair. Luke's head snapped up, that's for people who can't. It's for people who need to conserve strength, Ben interrupted gently. It doesn't mean you can't use your manual chair, it just means your workouts happen on schedule, controlled, safe. Luke hesitated, you think I'm overdoing it? I think you're scared, Ben said honestly, and when you're scared you try to earn control by pushing harder. That hit home. Luke's voice got quieter, I don't want to go backwards. And you won't, Ben said, this helps you go forward. There was a long silence. Is it permanent? Luke asked. No, it's support, just like the meal plan, just like the routine. Luke nodded slowly, okay if it helps. Ben offered a small smile, it will. A week later the power chair arrived. Luke was nervous at first, fingers tight on the controls, but once he realized how smooth it moved, how little strain it took, his shoulders relaxed. For the first time in a while, he went from his room to the kitchen without looking exhausted. At dinner that night, he finished his plate and still had energy to sit and talk. Aaron watched quietly, emotion in his eyes. Later he pulled Ben aside, you were right. Ben shook his head, Luke's doing the work, we're just giving him the tools. Upstairs. Luke plugged in his new chair for the night. He glanced at his manual chair resting by the wall. I'll use you again, he whispered softly, just not to hurt myself. And for once, recovery didn't feel like something being taken away. It felt like something being built, carefully, steadily, one supported step at a time. Ben helped Luke from his chair to the bed after his evening shower. The room was quiet, soft lamp on, routine calm and steady. As Ben reached for a clean brief and comfortable shorts, he spoke gently. You feel weird, not exhausted. Luke stared at the ceiling, a little bit, I'm not used to having energy at night. Ben gave a small knowing smile, that's why I recommended the power chair. Luke turned his head toward him, so you knew I was working out more on purpose. Ben didn't avoid it, yes. Luke's jaw tightened slightly, you didn't say anything. I was watching, Ben replied calmly. You started pushing longer routes, taking extra laps down the driveway, offering to grab things you didn't need to grab. Luke swallowed, I thought if I burned more, I could eat more without feeling guilty. Ben's voice stayed steady. You're not my first client with an eating disorder. I used to work in a group home. I've seen the patterns. The I'll just move a little more turns into overexertion fast. Luke's eyes watered, so you just let me. I let you show me where your head was, Ben corrected gently, then I adjusted the plan. He finished helping Luke into comfortable clothes, movements respectful and routine, no rush, no tension. The power chair isn't about control, Ben continued. It removes the secret workouts, it protects your calories for healing, it keeps things honest. Luke's voice was small, I hate that my brain does that. Ben sat on the edge of the bed. Your brain is trying to feel safe, it thinks control equals safety. Luke nodded faintly. But real safety, Ben said, is trusting that you don't have to outsmart the plan. There was a long pause. You're not mad, Luke asked. No, Ben answered immediately. I expected resistance. That doesn't make you bad, it makes you human. Luke let out a shaky breath. It's weird not being tired. That's your body stabilizing, Ben said. You ate all your meals today, you didn't overdo it. Your system isn't in panic mode. Luke blinked a few times, it feels calm. Ben stood and adjusted the blanket over him, calm is good. As he turned off the overhead light, Luke spoke again. Ben. Yes. Thanks for noticing. Ben's voice softened. That's my job and I'm not going anywhere. Luke settled into the pillows, body heavier in a healthy way, not from exhaustion but from nourishment. For the first time in months, the quiet in his room didn't feel like something he had to fight. It just felt steady. The room was dim except for the soft glow of the bedside lamp. Luke was settled comfortably in bed, blankets pulled up, the charger from his power chair humming quietly nearby. Ben stood near the wall where Luke's manual wheelchair rested. Tomorrow, Ben said gently, I'm going to move your manual chair out of your room for a while. Luke looked over at it then back at Ben, so I don't have temptation. Ben nodded, yeah. Luke was quiet for a second, you'll have to transfer me if I want to use it. I know that, Ben said calmly, and if we decide it's appropriate for a scheduled workout, I'll bring it to you, but you don't need to see it every day right now. Luke swallowed. It's weird, I kind of look at it and think about how far I could push. I know, Ben replied softly, out of sight takes away that constant negotiation in your head. Luke nodded slowly, that actually makes me feel relieved. Ben gave a small smile. Good, recovery shouldn't feel like a daily battle with equipment. Luke hesitated then said quietly, thank you, Ben. No issue, Ben said gently, you're doing the hard part, I'm just adjusting the environment. He picked up the TV remote and handed it to Luke. Now you can just watch TV until you go to sleep, no planning workouts, no calorie math, just rest. Luke leaned back into his pillows, turning on a random show more for background noise than anything else. As Ben moved toward the door, Luke spoke again. It helps when you're straightforward. Ben paused, you mean when I don't pretend I don't see it? Yeah. Ben nodded, you don't need someone who's fooled, you need someone steady. Luke gave a small, tired but genuine smile. Good night, Luke. Night, Ben. Ben quietly rolled the manual chair out into the hallway, not as a punishment, just as one more layer of protection. Inside the room, Luke watched TV, body calmer than it had been in weeks. No temptation in the corner. No secret negotiations. Just quiet. And for once that quiet felt safe. Ben rolled Luke's manual wheelchair down the hallway and toward the stairs. Aaron stepped out of the kitchen quickly. Don't throw it away, I don't have a wheelchair van. Ben gave him a calm look, I'm not throwing it away. Aaron exhaled, okay. It's going in the garage, Ben clarified, out of sight not out of use. Aaron nodded slowly, it's going to work right. Ben paused before answering, steady and confident. Yes, it's already working, he finished all his meals today, he didn't overexert, he admitted what he was doing, that's progress. Aaron leaned against the wall, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. I just don't want us to make the wrong move. We're not taking independence, Ben said, we're reducing strain while his body stabilizes. Aaron watched as Ben carefully folded the chair and set it neatly in the garage, not hidden in anger, not discarded, just stored. Ben walked back inside, brushing his hands together lightly. All right, I'm going to get his nighttime formula feed ready. Aaron nodded, he still needs that even though he ate everything. Yes, Ben answered gently. Right now the goal is weight restoration and metabolic repair. The overnight feed helps his body rebuild without him having to fight through another meal. Aaron gave a small, grateful look. Thank you for knowing all this. Ben offered a quiet half-smile, group home experience, and a lot of clients who thought they could outwork their meal plans. Upstairs, Luke was watching TV when Ben knocked lightly and came in carrying the feeding pump and formula. Time for your overnight support, Ben said in an easy tone. Luke muted the TV. Am I behind? No, Ben replied, you're right on track, this just gives your body extra help while you sleep. Luke nodded, lifting his shirt slightly so Ben could access his feeding tube port. The movements were clinical and practiced, no drama, no rush. As Ben connected the line and programmed the pump, Luke asked quietly, does this mean I'm worse than I thought? No, Ben said firmly but gently. It means we're being aggressive about recovery so you don't stay stuck for months. The pump began its soft rhythmic hum. You did well today, Ben added. This is reinforcement, not punishment. Luke relaxed back into his pillows. It's weird, I'm eating more than I ever have. And your body is thanking you for it, Ben said. You'll probably feel warmer soon, maybe even stronger. Luke gave a faint smile. I do feel less shaky. Good, Ben replied, that's stabilization. Aaron appeared quietly in the doorway. You okay, bud? Luke nodded, yeah, just full. Ben adjusted the blanket slightly. Full is good right now. Aaron looked at the pump, then at Ben. This will help. Yes, Ben said confidently. Consistent nutrition, controlled activity, structured routine, we stay steady. Aaron nodded, okay. Luke looked between them. You're both not panicking. Ben met his eyes, because we have a plan. The room settled into calm again, soft TV light, gentle hum of the feeding pump, steady breathing. No rush decisions. No punishment. Just structured care. And for the first time in a long time, everyone felt like they were moving forward instead of reacting to fear. Aaron sat across from Ben at the kitchen table, his hands clasped tight. Pat stood by the counter, arms folded, eyes tired but hopeful. Aaron said, Ben, Pat, and I want you to control Luke day to day. Ben didn't react right away, he just studied Aaron carefully. How? Aaron swallowed. Like you did with Vin, structure, routine, accountability, just without anything medical like that surgery talk before. We're not asking for extremes. Ben leaned back in his chair. Luke is okay, he's struggling but he's okay. Pat stepped forward. You got him to eat yesterday, he listened to you. Ben nodded slowly. An eating disorder isn't going to disappear in a day. We get that, Aaron said quickly. That's why we want consistency. Pat and I, we don't want to bury our only son, we're scared, Ben. The room fell silent. Upstairs, Luke sat on his bed, knees pulled to his chest, headphones in but no music playing. He'd heard enough raised voices over the last few months to recognize fear when he heard it. Ben finally spoke. Control isn't about power, it's about safety. If I do this, it's not about owning his life, it's about helping him feel steady. Aaron nodded, that's what we want. That evening Ben knocked gently on Luke's door. Yeah, Luke's voice was guarded. Ben walked in and sat on the edge of the desk chair, not too close. Your parents talked to me. Luke rolled his eyes slightly. Of course they did. They're scared, Ben said calmly, not mad, not disappointed, scared. Luke stared at the wall. I'm not doing this on purpose. I know. That simple answer made Luke glance up. Ben continued, you don't lose control of your body overnight and you don't rebuild strength overnight either. What you need is structure. Meals at set times, check-ins, sleep routine, no skipping, no negotiating with your brain. Luke shifted uncomfortably. That sounds like being treated like a kid. It's not about being a kid, Ben said gently. It's about letting someone help carry the weight while you heal. Luke's eyes watered slightly, though he tried to hide it. What if I mess up? Then we reset, Ben replied. No yelling, no shame, just reset. There was a long pause. And Ben added carefully, when things feel overwhelming, we simplify. Comfortable clothes, quiet space, maybe even letting yourself be taken care of a little more than usual. There's nothing wrong with needing that. Luke hesitated. Like what? Like not having to make decisions all day, like being reminded when to eat, when to rest, like letting someone else be the steady one. Luke's shoulders dropped slightly, the constant pressure in his chest